Now that goes against everything that you've been taught your whole life. Everything you've been taught your whole life. You've been taught that you think with your mind. But in the Quran, it talks about what the mind does. Think about some of the things the Quran says about the mind. Jesus said, let us forget the body. He said, let us forget the flesh and go with mind. And go with mind. So therefore, he has identified that the mind is a vehicle that we could use to transcend boundaries, that we could use to transcend time and space. So when the Prophet Muhammad, he talked about going from Mecca to Jerusalem and back to Mecca in one night, the night's journey. How did he travel? He said he traveled on an animal called Barak, and this animal in one stride, he moves as far as his eyes could see at the speed of thought. At the speed of thought, he was traveling with the mind. You understand what I'm saying? What else did he say about the mind? He said these tools remind me of the ones we handle in the workshop of the mind. So he's telling us that there is a workshop in the mind. And he's saying where we build up thought. He said where things are made of thought and where we build up character. Now he's telling us what we're supposed to be doing in the workshop, but that's not what you have to do because your mind is yours. You can change it when you want to.
Islam, Islam, Islam. Paradigm Shifting the Podcast. Sheik Maurice Pennington Bey. It's the brother Mauryell Smith, the sister Sunshine Monie. Islam, Islam. How y'all doing?
All is well, brother. All is well. Peace and love. Beautiful Tuesday.
Absolutely, absolutely. Hey, they ain't used to seeing us on Tuesday, y'all. They ain't used to seeing us on Tuesday. But that's what it is. I kind of hinted at the last couple podcasts I did that things was gonna change, that there was gonna be some new hosts to Paradigm Shift in the podcast. It was gonna be some new energy, some new perspective. Understand me? I'm still messing with buttons and stuff over here. So all right. So y'all heard the debate. The sister Amanda Seals was debating all of these, I guess these Asiatic conservatives, which they will, as we'll see in a minute, they black. Let them tell it they black conservatives. She's a black Democrat, I guess. And, they fight like they've been fighting for the last what's going on now, almost 100.5 years.
I seen clips of it. I didn't watch the whole thing. My sister was telling me to watch it. I was like, I'm not interested. But I kind of get where the conversation would already be going, or how it would be presented. So I wouldn't entertain myself with that. But I'm definitely, available to communicate some of the topics that was addressed. I did see a few of the different ideals that were expressed that actually surprised me that people even thought that. But it is what it is.
Surprised you? Oh my goodness. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is, because the Mauryell Bey, he sent me a few clips from the debate, right? And I got them on TikTok. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play one of them, right? I want to play one of these clips so everybody can see what the debate was about, the arguments, I guess, on each side. And I really want to take a look at how, because it's important, how our people think about things that they might not have any type of formal education about is important. You understand me? It's very important, especially for those of us who have committed ourselves to helping the people. We need to know, the way they think about some of the things that are really relevant, or sometimes might be irrelevant, but they thinking about it anyway. So I want to play this clip. I'm gonna share my screen real quick, so everybody can see this. Messages, screen share. Okay. All right. So this is on TikTok. And so the sister Amanda Seals, obviously again, this brother, I don't know what his name is, but they finna go at it in one of these debates. So let's check this out. What's going on?
What's that on your chain?
This is a coin from Israel.
Lord have mercy.
Yes, you gotta go.
That's a choice that you are making for yourself.
Yes. The thing with the whole reparations thing, and I don't know, we're probably close to the same age, so maybe you can't call me.
How old are
mom.
you?
I'm 32.
I'm 44.
Oh, really? Oh, you look young.
Thank you. That's what water and keeping stress out of your life will do.
Really?
Mhm.
Liberal positions are real stressful.
By the way, I wouldn't know. I'm not a liberal. Carry on.
Well, it's the liberal position because conservatives believe in hard work. We believe in going to work and working for what you got,
Yep.
not asking for handouts
Right.
from people who never had slaves. Some of the people that you're asking for money from never had slaves. And let's talk about the fact there were also Black people that had slaves. So if you want to talk about that, how is that fair? If I'm a white person and my family fall on the side of the Union, why should I have to pay for slaves when this whole country was never all racist? Some of the founding fathers were abolitionists, and they hated slavery. And they actually put things in the Declaration of Independence and things too, because they believed that there would be a future where there would be a Black president one day, or that there would be people in leadership that were Black. There was people in the North who helped with the Underground Railroad and fought with the Union. So why is that fair for people who never had slaves, who fought against slavery, to have to pay for people that had slaves?
One, from my understanding, you are more interested in preserving the fairness of those who didn't have slaves than the fairness of those who are the descendants of slaves. That is priority to you than finding a fair way to accommodate those who have been the descendant of slaves.
Well, our ancestors wasn't asking for handouts. They were asking for equal opportunity. And we have equal opportunity in this country. We had a Black president, just in case you didn't know. We had a Black president and we had a Black vice president. I think she was Black. They said she was Black. I don't know. So we had a Black president, and you know who voted for that Black man? White people, because you can't win a popular election in this country without white people. So Barack Obama is the product of white people. So let's get off this thing where, oh, America is so racist. What's making America so racist is people that continue to talk about racism and continue to focus on racism instead of focusing on unity and bringing our country forward. People that have these liberal mindset are infecting our communities, Black people, and making us victims and not victors. I refuse to embrace a victim mentality because that's not what our grandparents and Harriet Tubman and those people fought for. They fought for equal opportunity. Do not bring up
Harriet Tubman's name in vain, baby. Please.
Let's say the Lord's name in vain. Lord's name.
Harriet Tubman was literally saving her family and others from slavery.
Yeah. You know who helped her? White people.
You know who helped her?
They were on the Underground Railroad.
Who helped her?
Come on in.
You know who helped her?
God and
people who benefit from white supremacy. One of the things
it's a lie. White supremacy is a lie.
No, sir, that's simply not true. If that were not the case, then we wouldn't see the continued effort of colonialism and white people placing themselves in positions of power when they do not have the power.
Because their culture. Black culture is toxic. The Black culture is toxic. We have produced a culture that is toxic. And let's get on the fact that there's no fathers in the Black home. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that.
None of this is gonna work if y'all are just gonna sit here and make up shit.
It's
not gonna work. No, it's a beat. Has to be in facts.
You're putting off emotional liberalism.
I am not putting off emotional liberalism. You're putting off founded lies
That's what y'all
based
do. Y'all
in
start saying
conservatism.
misinformation. Remember they
It
did the
is
misinformation thing all summer where everything
Look at this
conservative
man.
did. They said
You're carrying
misinformation.
a chain around your neck of an apartheid nation that actively wants to harm Black people and
What about the
non-Jewish people.
apartheid? What
But
about
let
when-
me bring it
What
back.
about when
Let
Black
me bring
people
it
were
back.
selling Black people
Let me
in
bring
Africa?
it. That was not happening
put
in the
them in
context that
cages,
you're saying.
And they were selling
Let's
their
bring
own
it
people.
back.
Black people still sell
Okay.
their own people today too. By
I don't
the
know
way,
if I'm gonna last.
we're selling our own people today
I don't know
too.
if I'm gonna
You probably
last.
won't last with me.
I won't, because your ignorance is so
See, y'all,
overwhelming.
that's liberals. Y'all start name calling when y'all
No,
getting
it's
defeated
not
in an
name
argument.
calling. You won't have an argument because you keep cutting me off.
Oh, well, that's fine if they don't let me come
You
back.
won't
up.
even.
I made my
You won't.
point.
You didn't make your
I made
point.
my point.
You haven't
And
made
I'm
your
okay
point.
with being
And let me
voted
just
out.
tell you about your point. You started off saying we believe in hard work.
Yeah.
And we believe in being compensated.
Reparations is not though. Reparations is not hard work. It's stealing. It's Robin Hood.
You said you believe in hard work.
Yes.
And you believe in being compensated for hard work.
Yes.
Were slaves compensated for their work?
They weren't compensated for their work. But why should people who are sitting at home playing video games, smoking marijuana,
Are you sitting at
be
home playing a
giving
video
checks?
game? Are
But
you
no,
sitting at home playing a video
the
game?
people that they're wanting
Am I
reparations
sitting at home
for,
playing a video game? No.
The people
And
they
I don't
want
know what
reparations
I don't
for.
know who these people are that you're talking about, because the majority of the Black community is not sitting at home playing video games.
The majority of the Black
Where are you
community
getting
is doing a lot
that
of
statistic?
things.
Where are you
A lot
getting
of
that
things is not
statistic?
right.
Pause. You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
I knew I was going to be surrounded by ignorance, but damn, let's.
Generalizations is gonna be the death of folks. I'm telling
Yeah.
you. That generalized thinking is absurd. We in the age of Aquarius now, baby. It's about the power of being one amongst the collective. You can't generalize nothing and nobody in this day and time. You're gonna be wrong every time.
So let's break this down. So when you say the generalization, explain what that means.
Generalization is when you try to speak for billions of people in your one sentence. My projection of my thoughts, my opinion, my reality is fitting for billions of people. That doesn't make sense. It's never made sense. If that, like, an example of that just popped in my head was vaccines. Vaccine is not a one size fit all. Tylenol is not even a one size fit all. Don't work for everybody. Some people don't make them feel good. Some people don't work at all. Some people work too good. You can't just be like, oh yeah, this works for everybody. No, it doesn't. Everything does not work for everybody.
So, no, 100%. And also, just to add on to that, you can also tell, again, it's like archetypes. And it's funny because, like, you see it online, and we're watching this video online, but it still is like real people really think like this. They can't be real people. It's like it can't be real people. It's really kind of like what the sister said in the comments. It's baffling, the ignorance. And that's what's really that's what's got our society falling apart. It's ignorance. Ignorance literally has our society falling apart. We look in here and what's going on is here. We're looking here, what's going on is over here. And we're proud in the ignorance too. That's the thing. It's like a willfully proud ignorance is what's crashing our society.
Islam. Now, I gotta say, I have to say that listening to the brother, as much as uncomfortable as it makes you, right? Because it's uncomfortable to think that an Asiatic would say that, we aren't owed something. All right. Now, with that being the case, the conversation, the intelligent conversation, it gets into, well, what are we owed? What fair? What does fair look like in this situation? But a lot of the things that he said, Mo, were true. That man said that the Black culture is toxic. Tell me he lying. That man said that the reason Now, the issue was when he said the reason and he didn't say a reason. He said the reason why the European, whom he said white people, but the reason why the European is successful is because of their culture. Tell me that he lied. Now, when we look at their culture, I don't understand. I know that when I hear what he said, and if I was to thinking that we not thinking along the same lines, but what he's saying is true.
Yeah.
The black culture is toxic. The black culture. Because for one, the black culture does not belong. Exactly. It don't
The
belong
people in
to
this
us.
conversation are not black. Let's get that, have that conversation for the people that don't know yet.
Exactly. All right. Then the European culture, excuse me, the European culture, the Sikh, what did the Sikh anti-Diop call it? Y'all remember? Are y'all familiar? The last book he ever wrote, it was called Civilizational Barbarism. So yes, they are successful because of their culture. Because of people who are civilized and peaceful by their nature are in a ring fighting barbarians. You understand me?
Mm-hmm. We had this conversation in Sunday service on Sunday. So, you know, we read in this in the Africa village out here, they read out of Mayat, and it was talking about the comparison of Mayat to the commandments. And I was saying how, like, okay, when we go out, we're supposed to uphold those laws. You know what I'm saying? How we carry ourselves. But if you don't uphold those laws, you're opening yourself up to have to endure the policies and the procedures and the policy officers and all this other stuff that's going on out there in the world that people are complaining about. Like a lot of people complain about like the police presence in the neighborhoods, and like DC, everybody got a microscope on DC right now. Now we can get into jurisdiction about it, you know what I'm saying? But I would like to think that the conversations that a lot of these governors and mayors are having in response to the president trying to, you know, press his presence in all those spaces is really making people realize how big jurisdiction is and how, you know, whatever. But come back to this conversation. When you like you said, black culture is toxic, because if people were in alignment with those laws and that order that we're supposed to have as a people, it wouldn't leave room for people to be like, oh yeah, the solution over here is a prison, the solution over here is more cops, the solution over, it wouldn't make sense for that to be the solution. You know what I'm saying? Like they wouldn't even be able to create that narrative because the behavior is not there. You know, it's like I'm eating a bunch of bad food, and then I want to complain when my body is being open to cancer and parasites. So I want to go to Kellogg's and Monsanto and tell them to stop putting stuff in their food. Stop eating the food. Where's your self-discipline? Where's your order? Why aren't you mastering your emotions and your intellect to where you know how to behave in situations? You're not, you know what gives you cancer, you know what gives you parasites, you know what opens up the community to certain things. So why engage in it and then get mad when that equal opposite energy does come?
Yeah. I think too, again, that's what I was saying earlier about ignorance, is that I feel like we hyper focus on our culture in every different ways, right? Noble Drew Ali talked about that we descend from the mothers and fathers, the founders of civilization. And when we start to change the conversation from culture to civilization, this is where, as currently constructed, our people lack understanding. So that culture is set up by the system of how these people have ran their civilizations. Right now, our culture is currently set up by their same system. Yeah. So our people, it's hard for our people, whether they are blindly falling into this concept of white supremacy or actively rebelling against this concept of white supremacy, they're still wrapping their identities, their plans, their strategies on how Europeans think.
Because they still want to be included. They don't want to build their own.
We don't. It's like the Matrix movie. They still want to eat the steak.
Yep.
Right. And that's really the issue. That's really the issue. Because if that wasn't the issue, what we're doing, what the temple doing, what the conscious, all of that stuff would be, and it's actually happening. You see it more and more each day. But all of that will be the norm. But because we've been made into the perfect slaves. We've been made into the perfect slaves due to consumerism. It's hard for us to now become truly interdependent on ourselves, because we're now interdependent on people who don't really care about the things that we care about.
That's right. Islam, look, so the sister Jasmine J. Gray-Hill, she says that many don't understand the connection between their diet and illness. Okay, now I think that speaks to what you was just talking about, Sunshine, and it really does. A lot of our people, they don't know these things. Like when we said, well, the people don't know. I mean, you said, well, the people know what causes cancer. They know what makes them ill, but they really don't. And you know why they don't? Because they are paying more attention to the distractions, to the systematic, the strategic, the extremely intentional distractions that's in front of them. It's not an accident that their attention is being drawn away from those things that will help them, that will serve to put them in a better condition, and placed upon things that's going to do nothing but injure them and invite illnesses and disease into their life. Prime example, listen to what Ryan Nefer said, all right, when he taught us, because the first time I ever learned anything about humans having two hemispheres in their brain responsible for various functions was when I first read Metal Netta Volume 1, all right? So Raul Nefer talked about in this book how the European people are, for the most part, almost completely a left brain thinking people. And he talked about how, because of this, how they actually, they behavior, overly aggressive, always seeing things and breaking things up in poor racial caste systems and all of this type of stuff that we bear witness to. Now, the thing that I picked up on right then and there, because when I was studying this, the brothers who I was studying it with, I remember the Moorish Scientists of America. So the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, he gave us some principles that I was trying my best to live according to. But the brothers who I was studying this stuff with, they was thinking like these Urugus, they incomplete, they messed up, period. They ain't got nothing coming. We far superior, we spiritual. We just got to get back to thinking the way our ancestors did. But I'm sitting there thinking, now I'm putting 1 and 2 together. And I'm like, well, hold up, because I'm out here in the streets gang banging like a mother freak. That's the completely left brain mode of thinking. You can't be a gang banger if you coming up out of your right hemisphere of your brain, because you couldn't see yourself destroying something that you're supposed to be living in harmony with. Now, with that being the case, though, this is what we get in today. We getting an avalanche of we are being flooded with things that attract us to that type of left brain thinking. So now the people not seeing what they eat, what they think, what they engage in, who they hang out with, what they entertain themselves with. No, they're not seeing how this stuff causes illness and disease. They not. They don't. You understand me? And that's what we see right here in this argument. Okay, well, who is right in a debate like this? It's the sister sitting here saying black people deserve reparations, but she's not defining what the reparations look like. She's not talking about how do we go about, making sure that the people who have historically since the end of slavery, squandered almost every nickel they ever got their hands on. How do we make sure that this doesn't happen? How do we make sure that we have people in charge of receiving these reparations who will then make sure that they serve the people correctly? Okay, we're not going to talk about this, then we don't need to even be talking about getting it. Because if y'all ever seen that movie called Running Out of Time with Justin Timberlake?
Mm-hmm.
You seen that?
Yeah.
Did you notice that almost every Asiatic in the movie ran out of time?
Yep.
It almost was no Asiatics. It was like 4 of them in the whole movie. Because if time was money, we'd be dead. We'd be dead. Remember, he gave the one Asiatic 10 years, and then when he was running out of time, he ran and beat on the door. Boom, 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 boom. He beat on the door, and his dude's wife came to the door, and he was like, "Man, where's such so and so at?" You remember what she said? He drunk himself to death with all the time you gave him. So how do we make sure that if we were to receive reparations, that something like this wouldn't happen? Okay, why are we not talking about that? Then
We gotta have a conversation about what reparations should be first, because when people say reparations, everybody automatically thinks these federal debt notes. And if you know the science and the foundation of the Federal Reserve System, that's not really what you want. I don't agree with giving money out. I don't agree with it, because if you give the money out, you're circulating the money, you're keeping the Federal Reserve System in our community. And that's one of the biggest issues in our community is that corporation. That corporation needs to be removed out of our community. We should have our own currency. If we need a currency, go back to bartering with our cryptocurrency, whatever you want to do. But the Federal Reserve need to get out of our spaces, because that inflation game they play, and they do redline. The Federal Reserve redlines just like the zip codes is the new redlining, just like any other thing, jobs, credits, insurances, all that stuff. And they all flow into this Federal Reserve System. So I wouldn't even go there to say, oh yeah, let's just hand out everybody some debt notes and all. That's not reparations to me. So we will have to have like a clear conversation about what proper reparations would be, because we didn't have debt notes before they came over here. We wasn't over here using money and they just came over here and took our money. That's not what was happening over here.
That's what happens all the time. That's what happens all the time. When you don't govern yourself, then you leave yourself open to be governed by others. Okay, I got a question.
Not at the table, you on the menu.
What you say? What you say? If you ain't on the table, you ain't at the table, you on the menu.
You on the menu.
How do we come from the streets? How do we grow up in these ghettos and survive, and we don't understand that we have to take this type of approach when dealing with these ones? How do we not understand that? I got a question though. What should, because can we agree? The Prophet Noble Jew Ali said they're gonna have to pay us with compound interest.
Compound interest.
Okay, so now what would proper reparations look like?
In my mind, I don't want to project this onto anybody, but it would be resources, our land, the water, our ability to travel, like all these different things that we're teaching the people, like, you know, this is who you are, this is what you should be allowed to do. You don't have to go into business, you don't have to go to contract with the DMV, you don't have to do this and this. Like, there should be that separation there, you know, that in my mind, that's how it should be. Allow us to develop and have like more so international, you know, interaction, rather than you having jurisdiction or pretending you have jurisdiction over us and we having to abide by what y'all got going on.
Islam. Okay,
No,
so Islam.
A great movie. I've seen Trading Places with Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
That's an excellent movie. The sister Gray Hill put in the comments again that we don't understand because we weren't taught. And I think that if our people was put on game from the jump about a lot of things that goes on and how systems work and things like that, we would be running the system. We are been systematically kept out of knowing things, having access to things. so that we never build anything. So I kind of, and I'll let you have your point when you do it, but I love that point on, access to free education. I would say take it a step further, and that we need to be, that compounded interest needs to come from our intellectual property that has been, exploited all of these years, that literally run these industries. I'm talking about, from, your Lewis Lattimores and Thomas Edison and electricity. I'm talking about,
we invented everything. You know what? To Kim and walk with you on that one, I agree. And it should be to where like all of our inventions that they use, it should be like trade. Y'all trade with China, y'all trade with India, y'all trade with Europe, and all. Y'all need to start trading with us. These are our inventions from our people. So every time y'all use them or y'all build a business on them, that money should, be allocated to our, our nation.
Islam.
Indeed, 100%. And that's what will, because I think what all of our aims are looking at is sustainability, right? We want to set up a proper negotiation and agreement as far as what we should be compensated on, that allows us to not only, build ourselves up, but to sustain what we built. And, what the intellectual property does for us is, again, adding these resources to the equation, adding the land to the equation, adding, gold, all those things to the equation, is that with us getting back our intellectual property, now it shows us what we can do with the resources that we get that will make us competitively on an international stage. Because, as the Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, right, our people were the most ingenious and industrious subjects of Spain. What that means is, right, as you see new technology and stuff like that is coming out each and every day, we need to be set up in a position to where, again, we can compete economically with this technology. And a lot of this technology, again, comes from our ancestors. So we're talking about a brother like Ibn al-Haytham, who basically created the camera obscura. He basically figured out how light works to capture it almost 1,000 years ago, and they've been using his same concept to develop the camera. Like, that's something that we kids need to be taught about to understand how we can even take this technology again, because we want to create things that are completely brand new,
Islam,
that people can't even touch. But if we don't know what we built in the past, and y'all have been benefiting off what we built in the past and what we don't know, then we won't. It takes away our ability to, not takes away our ability, because we always innovate, but it takes away our ability to strategically innovate, to innovate
take away,
ancestral genius.
See, you know what these reparations will do? Because, like you said, we're going to always be creators. We're going to always innovate. But what these reparations would do, it would supply us with resources to be able to invest in ourselves. All right. All right. Real quick, y'all. I want everybody who watching this podcast right now, you know what I mean, to hit that like button. No matter of fact, we need hearts. Give us some hearts if you're on Facebook. Hit that like button if you're on YouTube, and hit that share. Everybody share this joint. Please share this joint. All right. Do that for us. But yeah, that's what reparations would do for us. Reparations would give us the opportunity to invest in ourselves, because one thing about us as Asiatic people, we do not lack for ideas. Right? We have ideas. We are creators. We are always creating stuff, and we always coming up with stuff, right? You say, can we tap back in to harnessing the free energy that nature provides, that ether? Agree. I think that's what it all boils down to, Mo. Like, at the end of the day, y'all know something. This the truth, okay? If we would step up and establish ourselves as a nation to be respected amongst other nations, we would have been got reparations.
would have been so easy.
we would have been got it. We would have
I
been
don't
got it.
think because reparations shouldn't go to individuals anyway. It should go to a nation. Let the nation do the things based upon it. Especially, I would rather it be through our nation than get our reparation through them. They're gonna give you what they want you to have, and then you're still a U.S. citizen. You still have to go under their stuff. You're still black. You're still in the black culture. Like nothing changed. You just got more money for Walmart. So in that point, I do agree with the man. You're not just going to be handing out money to people like da. Like, no, that's not I don't think that's the solution at all. I definitely agree with him on that level.
You know what else I look at too? I really look at the fact that I really look at the fact that when he said that a lot of people, because there were people who their ancestors had nothing to do with the institution of slavery. Okay. Now, as Moorish Americans, we also know that a lot of our ancestors weren't slaves. You understand what I'm saying? But this can easily be addressed. We still know what companies today were built with money that came as a result of the institution of slavery. And today, these people, their entire families, when I used to look at the almanac and look at the richest people in the United States of America, and you see that, you look at, like you just mentioned, the Walmart, you look at their family, everybody in the family is worth $50 billion or better. You look at the Koch family and all the members of the family, I mean, 50 billion to David, 50 billion to Charles, 50 billion to Fred. Like, they have, do y'all know that a bale of cotton still today costs the same amount of money that it costed during the time of slavery? It was about $900 a bale. It's still $900 a bale. Back then, a lot of these big plantation homes that you go down south and you want to buy, and they $15 million starting off, they costed $700 cash to build from the ground up. So a person can sell one bale of cotton and build one of the big old plantations that's worth $15 million today. Cotton used to be one of the most expensive fabrics on the planet Earth because it was so hard to deal with. But because of slavery, nobody cares how hard it is no more. We don't care how difficult it is to pick it. That's why it was a freaking one of our slave ancestors who invented the cotton gin to make his job easier.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of those homes all those plantation homes were ours during the time when they were allowing the military to occupy people's houses. That's when they started taking over our homes and our property, and then playing those marriage things, the interracial marriage or whatever. So you would have the colonists marry people that were in the tribes or whatever, and then try to divorce and take the property, because the property used to be in the woman's name, and it was passed to the daughter. It was all a game. Those was our houses.
Right. So what that points back to is, even though their system is corrupt, even though they've rigged the game, they have a system, they have a plan, they have a way to rig things. And that's the difference. We have the ideas, we have the talent, we have the this, we have the that, but we don't have the system.
That's right.
That's the key. It's the system. It's how we are working together while working on ourselves, while working on our families. It's the systems. We have to think with systems. All right, we have an idea. How does this idea ingratiate itself into the system?
Unity is essential. I know everybody got their own temples and stuff. I know I posted a post a few days ago, ruffled a few feathers. My apologies, but it is it's a little bickering back and forth between some of these temples, and that's not showing a unified front. That should be a system. If you guys are doing what y'all supposed to be doing and all those things, listen, I'm not attached to historical events and all that stuff to the way. I want to be present. Being present, we got these temples, we got these people, and not everybody wants to identify as a Moor in a temple. Okay, but there's still something that we can unite on. It's like you have all these cultures that's willing to come together under the umbrella of United States of America. We should be able to come together under some type of umbrella together, regardless if you want to identify as a Moor or Hebrew or Pan-African or this native tribe or that over there. It shouldn't matter. It shouldn't be a back and forth. I'm right, you're wrong. Your temple isn't legit. This person over here is not doing the right thing. That person is incorporated. It shouldn't be none of that. Oh, this is what you're doing. You in alignment. Oh, y'all good people. Y'all doing this for the environment. That's what y'all got set up. Bet we should have contracts amongst each other. That's how you run your household. This is how we run our household. But this is the bridge that connects us. And it shouldn't be no debate about that. I don't understand how we could sit here and time travel and debate about unity. Unity is not up for debate. But I see it all the time, and it's so frustrating. And then the few times I have spoken on it, even when I was in the temple in Philly, the few times I spoke on it was kind of like, oh, you can't speak on it, can't speak on that, can't speak on that. And then and then it becomes a debate as to why unity isn't, feasible. And it's just like, that's very disheartening. How far do we expect ourselves to be? How do we expect ourselves to be able to sit at the table with other nations if we can't even get, this part together?
Because we think unity is uniform. And that's not the thing.
That's not it. Yeah, we're not a monolith. We've never been a monolith.
Exactly. We've actually never been a monolith. Every nation is within, let's just say the Italians. They have different cultures and things, Sicilians, etc., differences amongst themselves. But they understand that these different differences is what contributes to the whole of what makes them unique as a nation.
Arm, leg, arm, head, please.
Exactly.
Tell them.
Exactly. So it's the misunderstanding of that causes the rifts. Also, too, is again, even looking at our own families. How we're trying to unite the temple, we're trying to unite the conscious community, things like that. But then look at our families. How can we unite our families? Well, where's the issue that we unite our families? There's a lot of emotional trauma. And without the proper mental first aid kit, without the proper mental health first aid kit, it's also hard for us to unite. And that's the thing, is that we have to address that first. Noble Drew Ali talked about the mental slavery.
That's right.
The mental slavery is what's causing the economic and the political slavery.
That's right.
So really, this process of healing and restoration and learning to love instead of hate is the true revolutionary position, because it has to start in the home and in the nucleus and in our communities, exactly where we're at, on how do we learn to really talk about the emotional trauma that we've been through, and really where the roots of that emotional trauma is at, because all of it is still rooted in this system of oppression. The unsaid things between our families, right? A lot of those things happen due to the pressures of the society that we live in. So it's connected. And really having the true hard conversations within our families, within our communities, is what's going to happen on that larger scale. It gives us the experience to be able to have the conversations. We have to have hard conversations in order to bring about this unity. But before we have hard conversations, we have to learn how to set the roles up so this hard conversation turns into progressive movement and not a regress or a retreat to isolation again.
That community outreach is important and should be regular. Like, and in my mind, like if I had my own building, it would be a social services building, and we would help with mental health and family counseling and these things. And there will be regular daily opportunities in daily spaces. Like I see Uptown Lee said, I never got that training in school. Okay, there should be after school programs. We should have after school programs for people that are still want to have their child in the public school system. Okay, cool. But before and after school, they over here getting this information. You understand? Or for those that are ready to homeschool or pull their children out of public school education, we should have stuff set up for them so they can be educated. And education doesn't stop from K through 12. There should be young adult education, and there should be older adult education. Like we should be providing these educational environments that are not just like, square, but also spiral. I'm not just teaching you about 1 + 2 = 3. I'm also telling you like the roundabouts, how to feel about it. You know what I'm saying? That emotional intelligence that is aligned to it, so that when you are expressing information or you're having dialogue and you're disagreeing with somebody, you know how to communicate. Like that dialogue that we just watched, both of them were emotionally unintelligent. It should not have gotten to where we're shouting, we're talking over each other. At least one of them should have showed some level of emotional intelligence of communicating. There's no way I'm ever raising my voice in a debate with somebody. I don't have to. I don't need to yell to be heard. And if I have to yell, I'm definitely not being heard. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like certain things like that. Those are things that for those of us who already know, we should be creating platforms amongst each other as as a community that already has it together to outreach and keep spreading the information. You know what I'm saying? If we're not doing that, if we're like, oh, I can't do it because, we make up excuses, but like it's 3 of us here. We in 3 different locations, and we've created this space where other people can come and sit and say, I didn't know that. This, that. Like it's really that simple. If you know 3 people at least 3 people in your neighborhood, have something outside. Hand out flyers, hand out posters. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing to get a meeting room in the library and be like, on Tuesdays, we over here and we're going to do this. I'm going to show y'all how to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it got to start somewhere. I think people be having this mindset of it has to be this super big thing or we can't start it. And that's not true.
Islam.
That's not even how Noble Ali started. When he started in Jersey, nobody was rocking with him.
Nah, hey, you know why I laughed when you said that? And I still got the videos to prove it. And I look at them often. But our temple started in the library. Like when we didn't have a location, the library they let you use the space for free. So we went to the library. And there was times where it was just 2 people. I've literally been in the temple where it was no one there but me, and I did exactly what the Prophet Noble Ali said. I put the charter or the warrant of authority up on the wall. And I'm the type of person, like I have literally sat there and spoke to the walls like I was speaking to a whole hall full of people. You understand me? But I want to show y'all something, right? Let me go back a couple times because some of the comments are really relevant, right?
Yeah,
So
I agree, Jasmine. Find the spaces that are already in existence that need more bodies. That's how I ended up out here in Memphis. There's no in Nashville they have a temple. They don't have one over here in Memphis. So I'm over here at the Africa Village, and I just gravitated to them because even though they're not in that Moorish science mindset, they have awareness and respect for the temple, and they in alignment. So that's what we gonna do. It's not no debate. Well, it gotta be the temple, or no. Like that's unity is way bigger than those nuances, and sometimes people get caught up in that. And it doesn't look like this. It's not like that, whatever. And it's
look what
like
you said here. There's beauty to a partnership.
agreed.
Absolutely. Not only is there beauty to a partnership, but there's also portions brought together within the partnership. You understand what I'm saying? There's talents that one individual, one group is lacking. That this other individual, these other groups that they have, and when they come together, it just makes for a more powerful, puts us in a better position to take advantage of whatever advantages are out there for us. You understand me? Like, and the brother Smithfield, you said it when you said that people confuse unity with uniformity. People confuse unity with there's one individual voice that we all listen to and follow. That's not necessary. That's not, especially where we are today, where we so far behind economically, we so far behind socially, as far as our military is non-existent. You understand me? So we could not, you show me one leader of any Asiatic thing anywhere who could lead us on all of these fronts right now.
I've never been to Chicago when y'all be having those events, but like, do these conversations come up during those events, like in October, November?
At the convention,
Yeah,
they do.
they do. Is it like proactive, or is it just like we're talking about it, it's in the works?
I'm gonna say this, right? Please
Yeah, I
listen.
know we on the internet.
No,
My
no, no.
apologies. It's just a genuine curiosity, though.
I'm not trying to not say anything. That's, you know what I mean? Because if I'm gonna tell you straight up, if it ain't ADEP chamber, then it's open for discussion.
Okay.
All right. So I'm gonna tell you this. What I was finna say is, and this goes with anything, this goes with anybody anywhere. It's a quote from Farrakhan. All right. So Farrakhan said that it's like a father to a baby that is still in the womb. So he looks at the mother of the baby and he rubs her stomach and he say, I want to see my baby. And she tell him that just because you can't see the baby right now doesn't mean that the baby is not grown. So yes, they are proactive. Yes, we are ages behind. There has been so much that has happened to handicap our efforts. All right. So with that being, I mean, look at what we're doing right now. Look at us here right now. This ain't you with a whole bunch of your homies and homegirls and homeboys on a podcast having this discussion. This ain't Smithfield with Moors from his body having this discussion. This ain't me with Moors from my body or even from my temple having this discussion. And that's intentional. Like, I literally sat down and thought, what would make this work? I need to bring minds together, you know, and other Moors, other places are doing the same thing. And eventually we're going to all come together. And just like she said, there will be beauty in the partnership. So yes, but I'm gonna keep it 100 though. Like a lot of the efforts, you know, get put on the back burner because of the ancient hatreds that I'm pretty sure that all of the young Moors, especially y'all, I know y'all tired of that, because I'm tired of it. I've been in the temple now for I'm approaching 20 years fast, like in a couple months. So it's like, for me, I've been tired of it. I don't participate in it, period. I don't participate in it, period. Yeah. I don't.
What I think so too is that, kind of to your point about the baby in the womb, is that it's happening. Everything that we're talking about is happening. And when I say that is because more and more of our people are starting to be more mindful.
Mm-hmm.
It's not happening at the rate that we would want it to be.
Yeah.
But more and more people are becoming more mindful. The people that I grew up with from the south side of Chicago, more and more people are either trying to get their health up, more and more people are trying to read a book, more and more people are trying to start a business, more and more people are trying to do something within this holistic field of uplift and following humanity.
Yeah.
The thing is, where we're at is really the trial and error phase. Because even with the temple, it's like just now, I feel like just now, I've only been in the temple since 2020, basically. And I feel like literally just now in 2025, a lot of the information is now coming together. As far as overall Moorish history, overall temple history, overall temple business history, overall what we need to do politically, overall matching what we're doing with the current events as the current events unfold. Everything is happening right now. And it's so big and so powerful that everybody is just now like putting the clues together in a sense, because we have crypto that's going off. We have, right, the alternative health spaces that's going on. We're having new things about mental health come out each and every day. Everything is just coming out so new, so fast, so impactful that really right now, what's going on is identities are being built. And what I mean by that is like brand recognition in a sense of where each different individual movement is going and everything, right? I swear, again, since the last 5 years, look at much how like AI has progressed, the knowledge of certain circles has progressed, etc. So I think that even though a lot of things get frustrating, because like even out here in Denver, right, I'm very in the like nonprofit scene. I've worked for 3 different nonprofits, coalition built, all of these different things. And there's been, even just outside of, I'm not even talking about dealing with Moors, just dealing with everyday Asiatics and trying to do things and trying to come together and do coalition. A lot of the stuff falls to the wayside just because of our own personal lives. Trying to keep our heads above water, paying rent, bills, etc. Something happens, somebody lose a mother, all of these things just be happening. And then a lot of things get derailed. So what I've seen is just to really like, if we take a step back though, and we look at how social media has transformed, it's going up negatively and positively in both ways.
Yep.
In order to bring about the greatest good, we have to defeat the greatest evil. The greatest evil is growing stronger, and we too, as volunteers to uphold the greatest good, must grow stronger as well.
Mm.
And that's just what it is. It's the nature of the beast. Is that without a foe, a soldier never knows his strength.
Mm-hmm.
And the constant frustration, the constant falling apart, coming back together, is making us mentally strong so that when this thing because that's another thing. When this thing come together, we talk about unity so lightly.
Mm.
We talk about it too lightly, in my opinion.
Yes.
Is that when this thing actually come together, the sky might crack open.
Right, we gotta be ready.
Real. Like it might be an earthquake. It might be like, because that energy, when that energy comes together, it's contagious. Think about it. Our people already influence the world negatively.
Yeah.
It's just it's just the changing of that energy, a shift of perspective. We're at the cusp right now. We're at the cusp.
Look, check this out, right? So this is the young Bey right here. That 27-year-old me. And I'm the only Moorish American in this picture. Because when I joined the temple, I was the youngest Moorish American in the temple by 10 years. The next youngest brother was 10 years older than me. And those Moors, they refused to move in these circles because these Moors call themselves black. So this man right here, that's Eric Bozeman. And y'all look up Eric Bozeman. Eric Bozeman, he was in Don Diva magazine 3-4 times. His record when it comes to what he has done for men like me is second to zero. I mean, it's second to none whatsoever. Like, he was our leader, period. We call him the general. I learned more, and I usually don't share this. Why one of the reasons why I call myself the master student is because I say I'm very humble when I sit at the leader's feet. So, and I take in everything I got coming and process, and I utilize, and I test all things. I bite it, chew it, light it on fire, try to drown it. I'm testing everything. But this man right here, you know what I mean, Haru Rock, he brought me into the knowledge of self, even though he was a priest of the Ifa Yoruba community. And this was the student minister of the Nation of Islam. This was the head of the African Hebrew Israelites. This was the grassroots, the head of the Rastafarian community. This man right here, this was Marcel. He was the Makongo for the Ifa Yoruba. We set up, you know, many days and nights meditating and studying, and we studied everything. This Willie Free got like 11 life sentences. This Charles X founded, is one of the founders of the Texas family. And this was a guest that came in from the Ifa Yoruba community. You see those beads around my man Buckneck? We all had those beads, but his was blue because he was a Crip. And he started, when he came into the conscience of self, he tried to say that he hated blue. So the elder insisted that he put blue beads around his neck. And Dr. Marimba Ani, you know, she came into the institution and she blessed all our beads. You know, I lost mine. But I say that to say this, you know, this man right here taught us economics, and he gave us he taught us financial literacy. This man taught us political science. This man facilitated the study guide program. And even back then, at this time, you know, I was in Branch Temple number 43, so I was the Lieutenant Mufti in the Moorish Scientists Temple of America at this time. We called ourselves One Count. All right, this is just some of us. We was pretty much the leaders of the community, but we was deep, and everybody knew. Everybody in this was USP1 in Florida, in Coleman, Florida, and everybody knew that we was one. All right, one. All of the Rastafarians, the African Hebrew Israelites, the Nation of Islam, the Ifa Yoruba, the Moorish Scientists Temple of America, we were one. And nobody didn't want that work. And they knew that we were for the people. Anything, when it came to Asiatic people, anything that they needed, we was there to facilitate it for them. Anything, and we stood on that. Coming home, this was how I came in. So this has always been my attitude, always. When I came home, I ain't even say when I came home in 2018, I first got a cell phone when I was in prison. I started to see how, you know, these various brothers, you know, like to debate each other and fight. We never debated nothing. Like, how are we going to debate? How would we debate a truth? Tell me that. How do we break this truth in half when parts and you argue a part of it? Like, we didn't even comprehend something like that. Like that was not anything that even almost ever happened. You know, but from when I came out here and seeing that this is normal activity, this every day, this was going on, I knew immediately that it was by somebody's strategic handwork. Real talk. All our people who arguing and debating with each other and hanging on to ancient hatreds that came, you know, about during the time that they never lived. You didn't live back then. You didn't see. You don't even know if them men and women done made up with each other and they done with the. I'll never forget. As a matter of fact, when I was at Allenwood Penitentiary, I was the Grand Sheik, and Azim Hopkins Bey was the assistant grand governor of Pennsylvania at the time. So he spent, one thing I can say about that Sheik, that he stayed in the institutions. He made sure that he was there, that he was a part of what was going on. And I would never, ever forget. I would never, ever forget that somebody, you know, stood up in the temple and brought up the topic of this grand body and that grand body. And Azim Hopkins Bey was like, listen, he said it honest. He said, R. Jones Bey is my leader. He said, but all of the Moors is one. This unity is an illusion. We can disagree all day, but we are duty bound not to adopt the attitude and character of the disagreeable. I'll never forget that.
Right.
I will never forget that. We cannot hang on to the attitude and keep the character of the disagreeable. We got to stop that. We have to stop that. And how we stop it is we have to stop giving attention to it. All right? Because these platforms are going to push whatever gets liked, whatever gets shared, whatever gets engagement. That is going to push that stuff out so that more people can like, share, and engage. All right. So if we're going to keep on like, sharing, and engaging in the ISFET, then the Maya ain't going to get no play. So now when we're trying to demonstrate and teach people about Maya, no, because ISFET chaos is getting all the play.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to change it. Now I'm gonna keep it 100. Like I grew up in the hip hop era. I grew up a rapper. I love hip hop. Okay. How many conscious rappers were good enough to spit conscious lyrics, and we still like, you know, they were still good enough. Talib Kweli, and after him it's a big drop off. So we got to get better. That's why we put together a team like this. People that can do it.
Right.
I mean, I'm keeping it 100. We intentional about this. We have to put together people that can do it. People that know what they're talking about. People that's going to pay attention to what's going on, and they're going to tell you the truth. And we don't give a freak. You know what? Guess what? I'm going to tell you the truth irregardless. So when TikTok say, when they put on TikTok and they be like, hey, make a post about this, I'm gonna tell TikTok to kiss my foot. I'm gonna make posts about what matters to me and my people. You understand me? But we got to get good at it though. We have to take it serious. Like we really gotta, you know, we gotta do it. We gotta, let me see what she say. And when y'all came together as a collective, what was the outcome? Oh, hey, let me tell you something, sis. Let me tell you something. I know the Bible. I know the Bible like the back of my hand. I know the Bible like the back of my hand because I studied the Bible religiously with the African Hebrew Israelites. When it came to being at Nation of Islam meetings, African Hebrew Israelite meetings, Yoruba meetings, Rastafarian meetings, I had better attendance than anybody else. So between the Rastafarians and the African Hebrew Israelites, I was able to learn the Bible, which means that I can go out because I was a fisher. I was young. I stayed out on the rec yard with my group of muftis because I made it a law that everybody under the age of 35 that joined the temple had to join the mufti staff. And I had every last one of them out on the yard because everybody ain't gonna come to the chapel. And we was demonstrating more science, but we was able to speak to the people from every single platform. When it came to, I mean, we had great success. We taught Kabuka class. And if you don't know what Kabuka meant, Kabuka is a book written by the Elder Baruti, and what it does is it gives an entire outline of what the Mayafa looked like. All right, what did it actually look like? Okay, what was the processes of it? What is the results like? How do you know? That was that class. We taught that class, and we had at every class on the rec yard. Now we wasn't sitting in rooms that the institution let us sit in. We were sitting on the rec yard around tables and at the freaking football goal and all that type of thing. And we had 60, 70 people all the time. And for one, it was peace for the most part on the compound because we could mediate whatever issues that came up from between any groups. We was able to come in between, anything that might turn messy. And we learned how to do that because of the things that we were studying. You know what I mean? So, just, the knowledge of self that came from studying research with the Ifa Yoruba community and paralleling that with more science and metal netta, it helped us to, it helped me personally, and I know that it helped the other brothers to understand the psyche of our people and other people too, because we studied the European like we studied ourselves, you know. So yeah, that was some of the things that was, and one thing that I really learned, I learned to love my people. I learned to love my people despite all our flaws, you know, despite everything. I learned to love my people unconditionally, no matter what. And I also learned that, you know, that what goes around comes around. I learned that. So they all taught each other something to bring back to your communities. Yes. Okay. So if I pull this picture up again, I just want to show you something. So the elder had double life plus 20 years. Marcelli had life plus 5. Willie Free had like 6 or 7 life sentences. Buck got 90 years. These my main partners. The elder, my man Yohadaba, he from Haiti, and he got what they call a stash house case. And Yohadaba was given 65 years for, you know, basically a stash house case is when a government agent comes to you and be like, hey, it's 10 bricks and $200,000 stashed in this house. Let's go rob it. Now, this is a government agent talking about 10 bricks and $200,000 that does not exist. But when you agree to do the robbery, then you get charged with the robbery. And that's where they said that it was a perfect entrapment, because the drugs were not there. And then in the 7th Circuit, which is the circuit in like the Chicago area, the judges ruled that perfect entrapment was illegal, because they said you offering somebody that comes from poverty a life-changing opportunity where they don't even have to hurt nobody, you know. But he caught his case in Miami, Florida, so they gave him 65 years. The elder grassroots had double life. Charles X had life. When these men took their time and taught me, and I mean they took their time because I was a mess. They took their time and they taught me. What I came to understand was they weren't just teaching me just to teach me. They was teaching me because he told me. The elder told me. He said, because I asked him, he used to be so hard on me. Like when we studied books, we had to write essays about the books. We had to recite all the relevant points. You know what I mean? And it was hard. It was real hard. It wasn't easy. This was nothing like what's going on out here. Like this was real training. When he would be so hard on me, he wouldn't allow for me to get nothing wrong. Like my papers that I wrote had to be perfect. I still got some of them to this day. They had to be perfect. And I asked him one day, like, man, why you be so hard on me? Like, you don't be going like, you don't be doing them like that. And he looked me in my eyes and he said, Bey, you going home. And I knew, you know what I mean? I say, you know what? I got to take this home. They want me to go home. They want me to take this stuff so that they can have purpose, because they doing life. Now, Allah be the best of planners. He got out. He got out. If you look on Instagram right now, you will see that the elder got out. But the rest of these men, they still there. But they wanted me to bring this home, and I understood that. I understood that. So that's one of the things the Prophet Noble Draw Ali say, the same truth that draw you will drive you. So for me, you know, to have people sacrifice so much, you know, to have these men to study so hard, to train so hard, to become, you know, what they were, just so they could pass that on to me, that means something to me. Like, that means something to me. But yeah. Islam. Yeah. Yep. That's what happened. And that's what we got to do. I know for a fact, like, if we would have been able to have social media while we was locked up, man, you wouldn't have been able to get them from in front of this stuff to try to get it out into society. Because I became like that. Like I was 27 on that picture. But by the time I got to be like 37, 38, 39, 40 years old, y'all know I was 43 when I came home. I was 23 when I went in. But by the time I started getting that old, I started looking at the youngsters because now all of a sudden there's people coming in who some of them weren't even born when I got locked up. You know what I mean? So now I'm looking at them, and in my mind, I'm thinking like, man, this brother could go out and meet my daughter. You understand what I'm saying? Like he could go home and meet my daughter. Like, and I'm like, if he meet my daughter, I want to train him right. I want to make sure that my daughter get the best that she can. I mean, that's the way I was taught to think, because our community is ours. You understand what I'm saying? This is the way I was taught to think. I don't know how to see it no other way. So all of this fighting and all of this debating with each other and all of this stuff, man, I ain't got no time for that. I don't have, because at the end of the day, you start fighting with me, then I'm gonna show you what it means to start fighting. I'm just gonna keep it 100. I'm gonna show you what that means, and that ain't something that we don't even want to do that. You feel me? That's not going to help nobody. But if that's the type of parasite or cancer that I grow to believe that you are, then man, I'll do whatever you want to do with you, because I'll make sure you get you to be able to handle you.
When we get into the esoteric knowledge of it all, it's so many things happening all at once. Like, life is so infinite to even get in a debate. I know about some of the different debates that they have with the lineage, with the temples and stuff like that. That's a big one that I hear a lot. And it's like, but does that determine the hearts of the people in those temples? And does that take away from all the energy and all the efforts and all the services and the things that they provide to the community and to each other? Does that supersede all of that? It shouldn't. It shouldn't. We should not be wasting time doing stuff like that. Like, I truly see it as a waste of time. It takes away from where we need to go. I get some people want to be correct, they want to be right, they, this, that, and the third. And it's like, okay, I know a little bit about the paperwork side of it, but in the same breath, in the space and time that we live in, we can renew paperwork. That's doable. Everybody know how to do that at this point. That's not that's not a big thing. So I don't get caught up in all those different things. Somebody had commented in here, what can we do for a bigger unity? And it's like, there's a lot of temples out here in the communities. The temples can move the way the churches is supposed to be moving. And if the temples could align with the church, because even me being in the Moorish Science Temple, I still go to churches. I still go to the churches. I still talk to the pastors. I still talk to the people. I'll still sit in on a Sunday service. It doesn't bother me. Just like how the Bible, like, yeah, we're supposed to know all the religions. We're supposed to read all the books. That's a part of the game. So I don't even get into that. Your religion is wrong. My religion is right. This book is first. That book is first. This land is first. That land is first. These people first. I don't get into all of that. That's asinine nuances to keep us occupied. You can't convince a grown person to think how you think. Period. You can't. You're not going to. Unless that person has already made the decision that they're going to be open to new information, you're not going to change that person's mind. You're wasting your time. That debate stuff, it gets nowhere. It's not going to change anybody's mind. You're just going to keep going back and forth. And then now they're going to take that and they're going to move on to other people that they know is going to agree with them. And now they're collectively talking about you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and what did you do? You spent a whole bunch of time trying to tell somebody that they were wrong, instead of saying, you know what? Let's just talk about how we can build. You and your community over there doing that. Like, why can't we have social services? Why can't we have our community breakfasts and lunches and dinners? Why can't we have daily check-ins? Why can't we have accountability people coming in? Like, if somebody really has issues in their home or in their life or with themselves, we can have our own hotline system. We can have our own mentorship and advocacy and stuff like that, especially for our people dealing with psychological, mental, and emotional ailments and things like that. We can have our own things like that. We can set those up. We have the power to do that. We can have our own clothing and food drives. We can have our own community gardens and grow our own food, teach other people how to grow their own food in their spaces or what they have. We could teach people how to make their own clothes. We could teach people how to make everything that they need in their household from the plants that we grew in the garden. These are all things that we are capable of doing in these temples, and connecting the temples and aligning with the churches in the neighborhood that had political power and already shaking hands, and see if they would be in alignment. Am I saying that everybody going all of a sudden want to shake our hands and it's going to be? No, that's not what I'm saying. Some people not going to be with it at all, and that's okay. That's okay. But the goal is to get the people that are. We're not going to sit here and focus on the people that want to debate and the people that don't want to align and the people that want to stay in this black toxic, community and culture or whatever. We can't stare at that. Let them bite their own tail. You know what I'm saying? We got to stare at what we're trying to create. Like you said, you built up a man, thinking about your daughter. And while you said that, I'm like, bro, when you think about your daughter, you think about everybody's daughters. You know what I'm saying? When I think about my sons, I'm thinking about everybody's sons. I don't care if you 55, you know what I'm saying? That's somebody's son. You hear me? So it's like, and it's, what's also interesting is I homeschool my sons. My sons don't know how to be US citizens. They only know this. So what kind of world am I leaving for them if they only know this and nobody in my bloodline knows this? If something were to happen to me tomorrow, who's going to take my sons? The people that's over here debating about which temple was right. Like, come on now. We got to have better conversations. We got to do better things with our energy. If the goal is to unite. And then I would think in my imagination, I could be doing this utopia, super optimism, cool. But let me speak it into existence. If we do get the temples, it's not even just the MST of A's. There's different kind of Moorish temples and organizations and communities. It's not just the MST of A. If we can get them also to do some type of alignment treaty type situation with them too, all nuances aside. You want to be incorporated. You want to call yourself half Freemason, half Moorish, I don't care. You're doing the community work, y'all in alignment, but those are the things you want to teach in addition to whatever. The goal is to unite and have this united front to where we do have our own schools and we're funding them and we're also protecting them. It's one thing to build these things, but you know what happened? I've been doing my other podcast, Virgo Virgin Talk, and we've been talking about the Native American tribes and stuff. And one of the biggest things was that made it easy for these colonists to come and infiltrate was the fact that the tribes was already beefing. They were so busy beefing and debating about who was the heir. You got the king, he got an heir in all these different sub villages. So now everybody fighting each other and getting at each other. You got, these villagers over here don't get along with these villagers over there for whatever reason. You got all these things. It was easy for the colonizer to come and be like, all right, we're going to talk to them tribes over there and we're going to get all of them because all of them don't like this tribe over here. So if we can get all of them to do and granted, sometimes they had to fight, they had to, kill some people off, but it made it easier for them to do those kind of things. You know what I'm saying? And that should show us something. It should show us something. The power of just like, sometimes put that stuff to the side. Is it important? Is all the fighting important? How big is this argument? How important is this argument when it comes to the bigger picture? You know what I'm saying? I know everybody want to be right, and you can be right in your home, in your reality. You can be right. And let's just come to the conclusion of that and start writing these treaties. And if we can get those different spaces, then we can move on. And I don't know. When I think about the Hebrew Israelite culture, my chest start clenching a little bit. They're very like strong energy. Those are the big debaters because all the Hebrew Israelites I've ever come in contact with was the ones that was in New York or in Brooklyn and stuff like that. And they always seem very confrontational and stuff like that. But in my mind, they're such powerful beings. If we could sit down with them, if we could sit down with the Pan-Africans, if we could sit down with the people that just say, hey, I'm not a Moor, I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm just a Native American tribe. If we could sit down with them too, just sit down with everybody and say, okay, you could be whoever you want to be, but can we have collective representatives to come together at this round table for who y'all choose to be and sign these treaties and get these things in order? Somebody else asked about funding. Michael Woods L. I don't know if y'all follow him on Facebook. He's my godson. I've been in alignment with him for a long time. He'll help you get whatever grants, whatever paperwork, whatever you need to do. That is the man to do it, okay? And he's passionate about it. And there's many other people that, you can get in alignment that's just a passionate. There's just the one that he always pops in my mind when somebody asks a question like that. But we do have a lot of people that have these gifts and these skills to be able to do these things. It's just, we got to put the differences aside. I think we just get caught up in being right and wanting to tell the right story and the right history and the right lineage and but why can't we just be present and say, you know what? I love you. I love you. And I want to see you win. I want to see your kids safe. I want to see your legacy. I want to see that. So what do we got to do? Why can't it be that simple?
You know, and I think the true crux of the issue is first and foremost, you know, Allah doesn't respect the titles and stations of men, right? And in Allah's eyes, all things are one,
Right.
right? But then also too, it's because of that. The work is the unifying thing. It's the work. And because we haven't unified around the work, everything else doesn't work.
Mm.
Like you said, we should be giving services, but we can't even get to the services because we are arguing over the titles and the stations.
Mm-hmm.
So when the titles and the stations supersede the work, then you have people that's together, people that'll lead a temple, people gonna start their own temple, cracks in the temple, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But if it was really about uplifting fallen humanity, if it was really about the services which we're supposed to be building off our economy, none of this stuff would ever happen. Let's just speak about what actually happened when Noble Drew Ali was on the scene.
Islam.
Why did it happen? Because of money, not because of the work. They didn't cross Noble Drew Ali because he's running that. We're running the cafeteria program too good.
Right.
No, it was about, look at how much money the cafeteria program is making.
That's right. That's right.
So that's really the real issue, is that the work isn't centered in our conscience, right? The work of actually teaching our people about mental slavery, about mental health, about drug abuse, about gun violence, safety, about actual true restoration in the justice system, right? The actual work keeps going to the wayside, and then it just piles up. It just keeps piling up, right? So that's in short. I'll stop rambling.
You're not rambling more.
At all.
The unity really comes about when the work is centered.
Mm-hmm.
Truly, because if we're gonna create unity amongst the temples, we're gonna create community amongst the different Asiatic groups. What's gonna make sense for everybody to buy in, to say, hey, I can get everybody here employed doing this, right? Then now we having a different conversation. Or hey, I know how to get y'all 200,000 in grant funds if we you feel me, align ourselves on this grant together.
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't have that type of leverage. That's what creates the idle minds to argue over the titles and the stations, which Allah doesn't respect in the first place.
Islam.
Islam.
You see this picture right here?
Yes, sir.
Everybody in this image not members of the temple. Everybody in this image is not members, but you see who that is right there? You see that man with that Maya feather right there? That's the universal prophet, Noble Drew Ali, sitting right in the center. These Oscar Duprees and these all types of people right here in this picture, man. Because the Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, imitate your prophet. We have nothing on record where the prophet was contentious or malicious, or we have nothing on record where the prophet ever said a single word against any other organized Asiatic group, no matter what. The forerunner of the prophet, Noble Drew Ali, ran an organization called the Universal Negro Improvement. Come on, man. And these Moors right now tell you that they don't want to deal with ones because they call themselves black. But we are supposed to be. Let me tell y'all something. All right, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna stop having that conversation because we're not gonna even give it energy. The way that we go about bringing about unity is to make those individuals corny. And how we make them corny is we just stop we stop paying them attention. We act like they don't exist. And we just keep on doing what we gonna follow these divine instructions. All right, we're gonna follow these instructions. Me and the Moors here, we going to the church tomorrow to help them because they got a whole part of the church that they need their windows fixed and repaired and cleaned, and that's what we do. So we're gonna go and do it for free. And we're gonna go with the Rotary Club and some more people, because that's what we do. You understand me? And we're gonna come back and we just gonna keep on doing this work. But we're gonna make them jokers corny. We're gonna leave them to argue with themselves. They're gonna look up, they're gonna be dinosaurs, and we gonna all be gone.
And see, something I learned in the church about that. You going over there, you're donating your time and your energy. That's money, right? So that temple, when they create their their board of income they received, that's a gift. Put a number to that of what it would have cost, and they could put that in their spreadsheet. So when they ask for grants, they're showing, hey, we're already getting support, not just monetary, but people believe in us so much they're giving us free services and products and stuff like that. That makes people want to invest. That makes other organizations want to invest because they're like, oh, okay, they know how. If we give y'all this money, y'all gonna know how to keep it afloat. You know what I'm saying? Just like the goddess was saying in the chat, partnership is what brings in the money, not doing everything by yourself. You're absolutely right. When you have all these different people that are investing, all these different organizations, all these different people you align with, and they're giving you, even somebody just donating you a bag of clothes, a box of canned goods, all of that matters. That's showing something. That is money. That does bring in income. You know what I'm saying? So, and when you think about it in that realm, it's still doing something. It could do something even bigger when you play, if y'all want to play that game. You know what I'm saying? Money is a tool. And while we still like in some type of interaction with them, we want to still use the debt notes. I know some people still want to be in that. That's cool. You know what I'm saying? But those are different ways that you could do it.
That's definitely true. And I mean, and that's what we know, and we're gonna do it. It's a partnership. My whole thing is, out of this we gain friends. The Holy Quran of the Moorish Scientists Temple of America said it is our duty to be a friend to mankind, as it is in our interest that mankind should be friendly to thee. And we know that we need all the friends we can get. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go out here. We're gonna make friends with these people. And in the future, we're gonna see what this friendship manifests. That's just the way it works. And one thing, we more scientists, y'all. Before we move further,
real quick, can I jump in?
It's
Yeah. So like, and two is like, we have resources, right? Like, the nonprofit that I work for.
Mm-hmm.
Work with, right? I'm over schools in Denver, Chicago, Milwaukee.
Islam.
We can go, like you said, you in Memphis. If you know anybody in the school area, right? A school that would need our services. So what we do is we run a meditation room in the school, not only for the students, but also for the staff. So the staff, I had a teacher come in my room today. We did a whole breathing session exercise, and I hooked them up with the tuning fork in the public school.
Islam.
So, and we give all of this free to the school. How? Because we built relationships with foundations. So if you know any foundations in Memphis, and then if you got any targeted schools, all we got to do is get in front of them. And it's that simple. So, like I said, it's happening now. There's so many people, so many different Asiatics doing work. Didn't they just open up a new town of Asiatics down in Georgia? We just got
All that.
goal is to shine the light on the positives because they want us to focus on the negative, to continue to engage in the negative, and then continue for these algorithms to algorithm.
To algorithm. That's
But
right.
there's so much positive going on right now, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much. Yes, we can bring it into higher education in Texas Southern because we also give courses to schools of nursing and schools of social work in colleges, full certifications. So, like, there's stuff is happening.
Yeah, it's happening.
Stuff is happening, but I ain't gonna necessarily put it on Facebook to be around people that could ruin professional relationships.
Islam.
Exactly.
And that's just truth.
I don't post everything I do up here.
You
As
know
far
what
as y'all
I'm
know, I just talk about stars and numbers all day. That's all y'all need to know.
You don't know what people sit though.
Yep.
Y'all see, I love stand up. D. Ray Davis. You don't know what I'm sitting on, right? So, like for real.
Islam.
So much is happening. We are at the cusp. Right now, what we're going through is a renaissance. We are in the renaissance. What the European Renaissance was to Europeans was them simply regaining knowledge of self. What's happening right now with our people regaining knowledge of self? It's bringing about a renaissance. We're at the beginning phases of it, right? So it's upon us to be pillars. And that's what's really running people away. Everybody ain't ready to be a pillar.
Islam.
In what we got going on. Some people just want to see it built and then come and help. And that's okay.
That's okay.
That's okay. That's okay. But I'm here saying I volunteer to be a pillar. Get on my back. Get on my shoulders. Get near. Because we are serious about uplifting fallen humanity.
Islam.
We are serious about seeing our people flourish.
Islam.
We are serious about educating our, and we do it. It's what we do. It's how we live our life. And this is the type of fervor, this is the type of holy zeal we got to set the hearts on fire with.
Islam. So the Sister Gray Hill asked, can she bring that program into the higher education? She said she's at Texas Southern. So is that something that she...
I was responding to her. That's what I was responding to her when she said,
"Oh,
yeah, okay. I see it on the side." Yeah,
Islam. Okay, Islam.
Yeah, I probably got like a few minutes. I'm getting hungry.
Okay, so look, I gotta I'm finna send this to you real quick, so you could have it. So hold on real quick before you dip.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send you a copy too. Matter of fact, I'm gonna put it in the group page for both of y'all. This is something I put together, and I think you could probably use it for your what you're doing.
So with your organization, when y'all travel, do y'all you said you have a certification program. Do y'all also travel to do that? Like, so that you kind of like, I guess, like the way franchises are set up, like, okay, we have people over here now, we have people over here now.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. That'll be a really dope thing to bring over here. Cause I haven't been here long. I'm from Jersey. I only been over here for like 3 weeks, and Allah's already sucked me into so many different things. Like, we need you over here. We need you over here. We need, like, okay, I'm here, wherever you want me to be. And so in addition to them going against Elon Musk with this warehouse out here, the air quality out here is a big deal because of the kind of businesses they do put out here. And then on top of that, one of the things that we fighting against is they're trying to build a prison in the middle of the residential community, which when you were playing that debate earlier, it made me think of yesterday. We had a meeting about it yesterday. It's funny how I start. I'll make this short because I know you're hungry. But Okay, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna go for a walk today because I ain't really been walking. Everybody putting fear in my heart about being in Memphis. Don't go nowhere, don't do nothing, don't talk to nobody. But I wanted to go for a walk. So I'm like, I'm gonna have my sister on the phone just in case something happens. I got a witness. Okay. So I walk, and then as I'm walking to the community center, which is like 2 blocks up, I didn't even make it a whole block. I heard gunshots. I was like, all right, let me go get in the car. I'm gonna just drive there. Right. So I get in the car and I drive there. And when I get there, the shootout is happening in the parking lot. Now, mind you, we're having a meet and going against the prison. There's the youth is shooting in the parking lot, and the elders is in here arguing, and it's becoming emotional because some of the people that showed up to this meeting are actually for the prison for this very reason. The people shooting in the parking lot, jobs, and it's like we can have jobs. It's the kind of jobs. Things like that. Like we need more teachers, we need more holistic practitioners, we need more mindfulness coaches, meditation coaches, we need more advocates, we need more people that's willing to be like hotline accountability partners when people do feel like they're on edge and they're about to get to that point where I am going to shoot, I am going to do this, I am going to do that. We need those kind of occupations. We don't need prison guards and more, more of these things that's about punishment. It's not about rehabilitation. You really have to make the mental decision to rehabilitate yourself in those spaces. It's not really like there for you. You know what I'm saying? You got to want to make that choice in that environment. Same thing with the public school system. The public school system is there to train you to be an employee. It's up to you and your own personal God within you to say, hey, I'm going to use this to my advantage to do X, Y, Z. I don't care what y'all initiative is. Y'all create whatever employees y'all want. This is what I want to do with my education. This is what I want to do with this experience. You know what I'm saying? So then you do have those people that, are exceptional and they go against the grander, percentages. But all that to say, I like that idea. We should have more employee, like we were saying, like you want to get people to come in Temple. I noticed that especially in Philly, the people wasn't trying to come to Temple because you're not giving them money, because you're not helping them with the problem that they have that's weighing on their shoulders the most. And that's bills, that's their expenses, that's all these different things. So if you're not teaching them how to deal with the things that's on their shoulder, they don't care about you needing bodies in your temple. They don't care about you needing people to help. Who's going to help me? I'm drowning. I don't have it in me to help y'all and y'all temple. You know what I'm saying? That's why I left the church. Like these are the mindsets of the people. You know what I'm saying? So if we providing them with these, like, okay, we have the ability to provide you guys with these kind of jobs. I teach Forex, and you want a couple dollars real quick? I'll show you how to get a couple dollars real quick. Here, let me show you real quick. And there's some brokers that you can start with $10 right now. You can go outside and ask somebody for $10. Go ahead and put that on that chart, and I'll show you how to do it. And some charts you can do less than $10. It's just I haven't discovered all of them, the ins and outs yet. But anyway, that's side conversation. But like, yeah, we should, these are the things that really help, providing the services, but also showing people you can be employed in these services. And these are more morale positions to be in rather than those jobs that feed the monster. And now you got these people coming around the community like, oh, I'm just doing my job. I'm just doing my job. I'm just doing my job. But you're destroying the community. You're destroying the environment. But I'm just doing my job. Just a paycheck. And then, like they were saying, like the free energy thing, that's something that could be taught. That's something that could be traveled, taught, and then give people the opportunity to become teachers in themselves and service workers in themselves and maintenance workers in themselves to keep the free energy going in those areas.
It's work enough for all to do.
So
like
much.
Said, but we got the resources, we got the ingenuity, we got the programs. Look, I want to show y'all this before y'all go.
This has been an invigorating conversation.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yes, no, 100%. Like I sweating.
So this right here, this is a program. This is a program that we facilitate for the guys in the Work Release Center. So I created a program called Success the Journey Begins Now. It's a workbook, and I partnered up with a nonprofit called Restore, and we facilitate this program it's a recidivism program. So in this program, we teach these men how to first of all unpack all of the trauma that leads to criminal behavior. We teach them how to express themselves, how to sell themselves, you know, and how to deal with emotional stressors, you know, through meditation and then various other techniques. But it all goes to the point where we are all doing the work where we are. You understand what I'm saying? We doing the work where we are, and the more work we do, the more these people, you know, like the more these people, these men and women who we see here, these people become a part of that work. And look at it. You see these Europeans? You got to teach these luxury, peace, freedom, and justice demonstration universal. Understand me? University. This ain't no, you know, we teach this in the temple. We do this in the temple. This is what we do. Because these is the same men, like I talked about, you know, the same people that's going to come out and meet our children, you know, meet our nieces and nephews, and we want to help these people get what we got. All right. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. It's not strange. So the idea that what you say, Mo, that unity is uniformity. Let's move away from that and let's just keep doing the work. You know, I get honest to the faithful. I get honest to you all. I get honest to both of you. I give honest to you for what you do. Like, I love what you do. That's the reason why. I asked to be able to partner with you. You understand? Whatever I could do to help, you know, that's what we're here for. Paradigm shifting is important. Our people need a paradigm shift. We need to stop allowing for those things that are distraction to serve their purpose on us. I seen a video this week on TikTok, brothers in transition house. I was there, sis. Listen, you know, I just came home. I came home February 14, 2024. I was there. If you go look at the first episodes of Paradigm Shifting the podcast, I was doing those in the halfway house. 6 a.m. I was up every morning at 6 a.m. This used to be an everyday thing. 6 a.m. every morning. Before it was called Paradigm Shifting the podcast, it was the Love, Truth, Peace, Freedom, and Justice podcast. And it was every morning in the halfway house. I was in my halfway house with computers. They made a rule. They say, man, you can't have a printer. I got computers, I got printers, I got microphones. I worked 3 jobs. Look, I came home. I worked 3 jobs, Mo. I was a CNC machine operator, a window washer, and I volunteered at every single solitary nonprofit in the city. And I did a podcast every morning.
And that's a more. That's the character of a more. You know, the concept again. The concept of a Renaissance man or a Renaissance woman is something that comes from, you know, our culture, our civilization. And that's what it's going to take in this time and days, that we're going to have to be adept in many different areas to be of resource to each other.
We got it. We got it. We got it. You know why we got it? What does the Holy Quran say? And his cares continue to you all and your love to each other. That's why we got it. Islam. Honest to the faithful. Let me see. I think we got one more comment in the chat. Let's see what the brother said. He said, "Where are the links for all this? How can we follow y'all movements?" Okay, y'all want to put y'all links and everything up in the chat before we close out? So the people can see it.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram, Facebook, just at Mauryell. Follow me on there. Follow me on LinkedIn. Add me on LinkedIn. That's what Morris. This is how we separate ourselves. Morris needs to start linking up on LinkedIn.
Hey, I'm on LinkedIn. You know, that's my company. Bay Legacy Contractor LLC.
Let's
That's
link
what-
up
that's
on
what we
LinkedIn.
do.
Find some group chats on LinkedIn.
Yeah, let's. As a matter of fact, let's do that. I don't even know what to put in here. I think all my stuff is it's in the description. I think all my stuff is always in the description.
Yeah.
So what y'all do is matter of fact, y'all send me all this stuff. I'll put it in so when the descriptions get generated, it'll all be there. It'll all be there. So just put everything you want in there on our messenger page, and it'll all be in there. And if y'all notice, everybody that's watching the podcast, if you look, you're gonna always see the link in the chat. Click the link. You click the link, we put you on the stage, join the conversation. Just come in, love, because we're not gonna argue with nobody. Just start arguing and being confrontational. We kicking you while you getting kicked out the classroom. Kick them out the classroom. You're getting kicked out the classroom. Straight up. All right, dog. Peace and love.
Peace and love.
Peace. Oh, my phone's shutting down, y'all. Peace.
Peace.
All right? Now that goes against everything that you've been taught your whole life. Everything you've been taught your whole life. You've been taught that you think with your mind. But in the Quran, it talks about what the mind does. Think about some of the things the Quran says about the mind. Jesus said, let us forget the body. He said, let us forget the flesh and go with mind. And go with mind. So therefore, he is identifying that the mind is a vehicle that we could use to transcend boundaries, that we could use to transcend time and space. So when the Prophet Muhammad, he talked about going from Mecca to Jerusalem and back to Mecca in one night, the night's journey. How did he travel? He said he traveled on an animal called Barak, and this animal in one stride, he moves as far as his eyes could see at the speed of thought. At the speed of thought, he was traveling with the mind. You understand what I'm saying? What else did he say about the mind? He said, these tools remind me of the ones we handle in the workshop of the mind. So he's telling us that there is a workshop in the mind. And he's saying where we build up thought. He said where things are made of thought and where we build up character. Now he's telling us what we're supposed to be doing in the workshop, but that's not what you have to do because your mind is yours. You can change it when you want to.